What's up and welcome back to Rollin Jays, the number one Celtics podcast for the number one basketball team on planet Earth. I'm Coley Mick. I am here with Cousin Stiz. I am here with Buddha the Ball Knower, and I am here with Jake Yazzie. We are powered by Underdog Fantasy, the greatest company in the history of planet Earth. Fellas, devastating news. 82-0 off the table. Stiz, thoughts? How did you react? Was there a funeral? I know I couldn't get out of bed the next day.
Bro, I almost cried, bro. I almost cried, man. It was a horrible loss. I couldn't eat the next morning, bro. I'm still having flashbacks. I'm still seeing yellow and blue, man. But it's all good. We bounced back, man. I mean, no. We bounced back, bro. I'm not yet seeing it, but I'm seeing Charlotte.
Do you feel partly responsible for Pascal Siakam going off against us?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the loss is one thing. Like, I thought the 82-0 was going to go a little bit longer. I thought we were going to get more juice out of that. Is 70 or is 81-1 in play? Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, when you say on episode 2 that Pascal Siakam can't shoot, and then he goes on to shoot 6 for 8 from 3, including the game winner. Stiz said he didn't sleep. Imagine how I felt.
He heard you.
It was a tough loss. Pacers needed a win more than the Celtics did. However, Pacers were up big in the fourth quarter, and in comes the Celtics' new secret weapon, and that's a Portuguese fella by the name of Queta. And we saw more of that as the week went on. The Al-Qaeda lineup against the Hawks was explosive, dare I say. They had the Joel Santana bought both jerseys, front and back. He said, this is what I'm rocking with, been rocking with it for 20 plus years now. What do we think, Buddha? What are you seeing when Queta's checking in and starting games?
So I think the thing with Queta, right, is when he's getting his run, he's getting his run. He's not a guy who's going to go in for 3 or 4 minutes and give him a different look. Joe is giving him the opportunity to be out on the floor with the regular starters. He was a part of that closing 5, during the Indiana game. And as he continues to develop and grow and gain more experience, I think his role is going to evolve. You're not seeing as much Xavier Tillman, and we know what Cornet is. But I think for development purposes, Queta's got to play more. He's got to play the end of games as well. I mean, are we worried about Al Horford at the end of games? No, absolutely not. And when you have veterans as well who are okay to say, all right, you know what? Let's give Queta a shot. Like, I loved that they rolled with him, at the end of the Indiana game as he deserved it. And then, he gets his first start. I think I have it here. I think he was like plus 54 on that road trip. And that's no mistake.
No, I looked up in the third quarter of that Hawks game, and I know he was plus 30 something. So that wouldn't surprise. And I know he was like plus 18 because they were down 18 against the Pacers to get him back into that. That was all Queta driven. Now, before the season, Stiz, we were in our first episode, we were talking about big man rotation. Do we need some depth? Has Queta shown you enough to be like, hey, maybe we're all right?
I was going to start this episode off by retracting my statement about Queta. I'm impressed, man. I'm big on Queta. Big fella, keep doing your thing out there, man. Keep hooping, bro. He's playing really well, playing really efficiently, bro. And I like alley-oop Luke too. I'm a big fan of that as well. We could keep that rolling as well.
For sure. It very much feels like, because so much has been made in this early season. Too many threes are being shot. Queta and Cornet are not out there to shoot 3. If they do, I think they may be killed instantaneously. That's not what you're out there for. And you can kind of see it. Teams are not used to, like, they're planning for the Celtics a very specific way. These boys want to shoot. They want to spread the court. When those two guys specifically are out there, they're like, well, we really weren't prepared to deal with traditional center play back to the bat. I mean, Queta's not just catching lobs. Like, he's getting tip slams. They're giving him the ball. I don't need as many drawn up plays for Queta as have been happening. But when you're up 40 on the Hawks, you can really run whatever you want. Like, it's really not a problem. And I did think it was interesting because the Hawks were starting Capella. Mazzula said, all right, this is a perfect spot for Queta to go out there and not even cover him. We're still going to put JT on. on Capella, which transition to JT real quick. Last episode, I was telling you about Underdog Fantasy. I was telling you about promo code Banner19. Go sign up, download, enter promo code Banner19. When signing up, you'll get up to $1,000 in bonus cash, as well as a free pick. I don't know what the free pick is. It'll be there, though. That much I can assure you. I told you, Jayson Tatum first quarters, and after these last couple of games, he leads the league in first quarter scoring. I believe Anthony Davis still leads in all scoring. Tatum's coming out getting busy early and often. I love the aggressiveness from him, even without, this was with and without JB in the lineup. What are you seeing, Buddha, in terms of Tatum attacking early and often?
I mean, he's aggressive, right? Like, especially with Jaylen being out. I mean, this is going to elevate his ability to be able to become, a premier MVP candidate. He's going to be able to take more shots. I don't love his shot selection, to be honest. He's taking a ton of threes. I would want him to start, inside, and then come out. Again, when Tatum is knocking down shots, it's contagious, right? Shout out to Jarvis Landry, right? Man, it's contagious. It's contagious. When he's knocking shots down, the body language of the whole team, I mean, he just lifts everybody. Whether he has a headband on or not, it really doesn't matter, because you're looking at a guy who has been a top 10 player in the world, and now he's elevating himself to be a number one, number top 5, top 3 player in the world. Overall, what else can you ask for? You almost ask yourself to a point, like, does this team need Jaylen? Did I say that out loud?
I've never asked that. I've never wanted to ask that.
Whoa, Buddha, stop.
Oh man, we beat the Hornets and the Hawks. Blow it up. We build around Queta. That's all we really need.
No.
I love Queta.
I'm listening.
I love Queta, and I do want to finish the thought. I do want to finish the thought on Queta. First off, he is a relentless offensive rebounder. And when your team is shooting 50 to 63s a game, to have a guy like that, defensively, right, when you play against the Celtics, like, you are constantly so worried about the exterior. If they're going to shoot that many threes, you have to be able to close out. You have to get on your shooter. But the other headache is that him in the lane, it's incredible how many second possessions he's getting us. Like you said, Coley, the tip slams and whatnot. But at the end of the day, guys, it doesn't really matter what big man we play, because you have a guy like Jayson Tatum on the wing. Whether he's bringing the ball up the court, whether he's the screener and then gets the ball back, his ceiling, I don't think he has one, right? To quote the great Michael Jordan, the roof is the ceiling, if that makes any sense.
No,
it never has.
Yeah, I don't think he has a ceiling either, but I think his life is a lot easier with JB in the picture. So I that attention that JB grabs, and I think the pressure that he puts on the defense consistently, even when JT isn't hitting shots, or when he's not in the game, or when he is in the game and hitting shots, it doesn't matter. The pressure that he puts on the ball, on the defense, is we need that, and we're gonna need it in the future. We're gonna need it in the playoffs. Yeah, I don't ever think no. We gotta keep that together for as long as we can keep it together.
Unless Adam Silver wants to spoon feed us the Hawks and Hornets 4 straight times to a championship, then yeah, we I don't even know if we need 5 full players to win that ring. I would trade whoever we want. At the top, we'll get Cooper Flag in the mix, get VJ Edgecombe in here so we can have more guys dunking on the coach, the coach's son on the other team. Whatever, we can do whatever we want at that point. But no, I'm very okay with Jaylen Brown finishing his entire career in Celtics green. Especially, you look at last year, there was no Jaylen Brown. We're not sitting here talking about defending champions.
True story.
We're 13-0 in our games without Jaylen. I just want to bring that point up. And again, I'm not asking for Jaylen Brown to leave. Don't misconstrue my words. I think my question is this team good enough to win a title without Jaylen Brown, right? Like, let's say he does go down at some point this season, which is where we're at right now, right? He's got the hip pointer. Again, like, I'm going to use this quote, just get healthy, man. Please. We'll see you in December. We'll see you in January, February, whatever it is. Right. But I don't know if teams can compete with us with or without Jaylen.
Without, they get pieced. We at least, I don't know that we get past Indiana without JB. but for certain, what's their record without Kristaps? It's definitely better than that.
35-7, including the playoffs last season.
Right. Jaylen didn't miss any playoff games last I checked. And that's kind of where it allows Tatum, who is a very versatile defender, to, all right, I'm just going to guard big men because I know JB's got the head of the snake. And that's where Drew, who is probably going to age, hopefully, like guard Horford, where, yeah, there's a step lost, but he can turn it on when he needs to because it's early in the season. I don't care about really any of these things. But there have been a couple of guards who have gotten past Drew where in the past they have not. LaMelo was going off against whoever we threw at him, and there was no JB there, where I don't know that would have been the same if he was out there. So that's where it's like, yeah, Jaylen offensively, Jaylen can go out there and shoot 2 for 21 and we can still win by 20, but that's because Jaylen on the defensive end is still there holding someone's best player to below their averages. So that's where I'm not trying to move anity anytime soon.
No moves needed for the Celtics. Let's not get it twisted.
True story.
No, not at all. But there's 2 of the young guys, because when you win by 30, you get to see the young bulls out there. I don't know if it was camera angle, whatever it was. Jaden Springer's taller than he was last year. That's a fact. He looked like 6'1" last year. He looked like 6'6". I was like, who is that? Jordan Walsh get braids? What's going on out there? And I bring up Jordan Walsh because he's the other guy I wanted to talk about. Jordan Walsh defensively, love it. Love him. I'm thrilled with him. He plays offense like he's also defending himself. I haven't seen someone more afraid to fuck up offensively, probably since Neesmith. And Neesmith was at least more like, hey, just go stand in the corner, don't fuck up. It was a different time, it was a different system, all that. Walsh was like, he was going up trying to shoot threes, just dropping the ball because he realized that was a bad idea. He got a traveling call trying to do too much in the lane. Stiz, what does Jordan Walsh need to do just to take a deep breath, relax?
I think it's exactly that, bro. I think it's just relax a little bit. But he's young, man. He's young. He's getting his first time out there for real. It's early in the season, which I love that he's getting this time now. Because we're gonna need those legs in the playoffs. When our guys get tired, when we're running around with the Pacers, with teams like that, who just want to run up and down the court, we're going to need those legs. So I just want him to settle down on the shots, bro. They're going to fall. And when they do fall, I know it'll get his confidence up. But right now, I think he's so focused on getting this time and wanting to keep it that he's not just letting the game come to him.
I think that's exactly what it is. He's fighting for playing time in his mind when it's like, you're on the court, man. You're already here. You're here. You're here now. I get you don't want to get back to Maine. I understand that. Trust me. But you're out there, and you're going to stay out there if the defense keeps being this menacing. Like he's like a tarantula out there. It's just limbs thrown all over the place. And I can't imagine for like a 4-minute stretch in the first half of a playoff game, like someone wants to deal with that. That looks hellacious. Oh, good. Jaylen's checking out for a breather. Oh, Jordan Walsh is coming in. I don't want to deal with that shit at all.
At all.
I think we did see it like really early in Jaylen's career too. Like Jaylen was so handsy and he would pick up really bad reach-in fouls. Like I think Walsh needs to realize that the goal is not to get the ball like defensively. It's just to get a stop and let everybody else clean up on the defensive glass. You're so right about his limbs. I mean, the guy's wingspan is absolutely insane. It looks like he can cover like with his wingspan from one side of the 3-point line to the other. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And again, like his length defensively, when you have guys like, Derek White and Drew Holiday in your backcourt, both being 6'4", 6'5", and then you play one big with a Tatum and or a Jaylen combined with a Jordan Walsh, like, yeah, maybe it doesn't feel like, we have our biggest lineup out there, but I promise you the offense on the other side's looking at us like, I don't know who we're going to attack.
Right. That's where I love his versatility. I love his quickness. Like I don't know how long he'll be here, how long he'll be in the league, any of that. I just love guys who lead with defense. That's what they make their bones off of. Because Stiz is right. That shot will start falling sooner or later, especially he just needs to see one go in. That's it. All he needs is just see one go in. Because he was a decent 3-point shooter coming out of high school. He was fine his freshman year at Alabama. He probably could have used another year at college. I'm glad he didn't, because I still think he can develop plenty here. He was a menace in Maine last year. So I'm high on him, and I'm not thrilled Jaylen's hurt and missing games, obviously, but I do love that we have an answer for why the shot was a little streaky and inconsistent coming off those last couple of games. He did play. He was still making an impact on both sides of the court. But I do think if it was a playoff game, he'd be out there. I think it was very much, hey, it's November. I'm not going to be pushing through mild discomfort. We know there's a larger goal here, and it allows us to play Jordan Walsh. It allows us to play the end of the bench when we're up. Like, it's, what's that, 34 minutes open up for whoever wants to go out there. We get to play different big man, double big rotations, which even after all these years, the double bigs only work if Horford's one of the two bigs. If it's any other combination of two bigs, fucking stinks. Scrap it, throw it out. Maybe when KP's back, you can put someone out there with him. But unless Horford's out there, and he was hitting up and unders, reverses against the Hawks. I feel like he still gets very energized to play against the Hawks, which I love. Didn't love that he went no headbands when the whole rest of the team's going headband. Al, I know you're 34 years old. I know you're a young man still. You gotta throw the head. When JT's got the headband on, I need Al with the headband on.
True. Even Derek White pulled the headband on, man. It was a beautiful thing to see, man.
It is. I love that early in the season too. Like, hey man, come on. We just played back-to-back in Charlotte. Let's have some fun for the Atlanta game. Let's just boys' night out. Let's toss the headbands on, win by 30, and get ready for this upcoming stretch. It's a week before the in-season tournament. Do you think, Buddha, that they care at all about hoisting that trophy? Because it's like the only thing they didn't win last year.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. Like, how important is this in-season tournament? I will say, like, as a fan, like, it brought me a little bit of juice last year. Like, I was genuinely excited about it. And as soon as we lost to Indiana, I was like, well, I don't care because it's just the in-season tournament. But the other thing is, like, the Lakers won it. And, like, the Lakers won. Like, no, it's not a real championship. Like, that immediately made it not that big of a deal for me. So I don't really know how to feel. I do have a couple ideas in terms of how I think they should fix the tournament.
Please.
And I do want to kind of get into that, but I think it should. I think it should have more meaning than just like a regular in-season tournament. I think you should automatically get the 1 seed in your conference, or if your conference wins the in-season tournament, you get that conference gets home court advantage throughout the playoffs. Like, I think there has to be another element and another wrinkle. For Luke Cornett, maybe $1 million is a big deal. But for a lot of the guys and the guys that are going to be out there at the end of the day, I don't think $1 million is enough incentive for them to feel like, hey, this is something that we have to go all out and win. Besides, partying in Vegas and getting a little bit of a break, in the middle of the season, I don't think it's that important.
Now they played like there was a directive from the league, like, you guys got to take this shit seriously for the first one. Otherwise, like, we know it's DOAs. Diz, how could you get these multi-billionaires to care about the in-season tournament year 2?
I really think it does come down to the gameplay. And I think the only way the players are going to turn up is off of, like, kind of what happened last year. I think if the Pacers are there, I know the Celtics are going to show up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, those type of things going on. Like, if there's, like, storylines like that going on, I know certain teams are going to show up. And then with that, the competitiveness in the fourth quarter is just going to happen. Once you put tournament in front of basketball players, it's pretty much over with.
They are very accustomed, like a pro basketball player's entire life until they get to the NBA is tournaments. Mm-hmm. That's it. Weekend, you're playing 1, sometimes 2 AAU tournaments. You're playing, when you get on your high school team, you're playing some sort of holiday jingle jam or some shit at the beginning of the season. Kentucky goes to the Bahamas to play in a tournament. They've got the Hawaii tournament for college basketball where they send like 8 teams. Like, the NIT, obviously, NCAA, your whole life until you get to the NBA is tournaments. You almost know that more than an 82 game season where you're just like, I guess there's an all-star game in the middle. That doesn't fucking happen. I guess that would be summer where they go to like 5-star and ABCD, all those camps, stuff like that. Those are the all-star games, I guess.
Mhm.
But even there, you're playing technically for millions and millions of dollars because you're showing off for all the scouts. You're showing off for all the college coaches. You're showing off for the sneaker companies.
True.
Trying to get generational wealth before you have a dollar of it.
True.
Now in the NBA, you already have all that. Again, unless you're poor Luke Cornett or someone of that.
He's just trying to pay off his mortgage.
Yeah, you got your pockets turned inside out. you're just straight. You got your bindle you throw over your shoulder, going town to town, just trying to hustle some guys playing some hoops. That's all you got going on for you at that moment. But I like even like these Hornets games where they were getting close for a little bit. When NBA players are close in the fourth quarter, they're going to play hard. It really is the other 3 quarters leading up to that point where I still enjoy it. I still see the competition out there, but when teams are overmatched, they're overmatched. I remember last year, one thing I didn't like, the Celtics were up like 40 on the Bulls in one of these games. And because point differential mattered, Mazzula had to keep looking at, why am I blanking on the Chicago coach, the old Florida coach, Billy Donovan. He had to keep looking at Billy Donovan like, listen, man, I can't pull my starters out. Like I have to keep beating you into submit. Like there's nothing I can, my hands are tied. You understand?
Yeah, like, yo.
Please don't cheap shot. Yeah, please don't cheap shot my guys. These are the rules. I'll call timeout and explain the rules to you if need be, but this is not showing you up. So I understand tiebreakers and all that. I would love to see that part taken out because I do think that's going to turn it in a way that's anger, not necessarily like fun competition that I think Adam Silver wants.
Yeah,
they like
point
kept
system.
following Andre Drummond. That was unbelievable.
Right, yeah,
They just keep sending Drummond to the free throw line, and it's like, oh my god!
Like, come on, man. I know.
I think if you look at the Drummond, yeah, I think Drummond crossed the Celtics off his list of like, all right, I'm gonna jump on their bandwagon. Of course, he re-signs with Philly this year. I think if you look at the schedule, I think we lucked out, right? I mean, ultimately, Cleveland's undefeated right now, and I do want to talk about them at some point throughout the episode. But you know, you're playing home versus Atlanta, who you just saw. You know, then you go to Washington. I mean, you're going to win by 100, so point differential is really not going to matter. And then it's the same thing as last year. You're not playing in Boston, but we do go to Chicago. And if point differential is a problem, I mean, again, it's going to be a bloodbath.
They got to do something about that point system thing, man. That's it's gonna make it. Yeah, it makes it just not fun. We got to switch.
What do you guys think of the court?
Last year I hated that it was slippery. Like it was dangerous to play on that court. Stiz?
I didn't like the slippery. I like that they switched it up though, man. I like the switch up. I like trying. If we're gonna try something new, I like that they tried something new.
They should also use it as a time to test some of these rule changes that they bring to the off season. You know what I mean? If the in-season tournament, yeah, it's going to affect your record, but it's still going to be basketball. The bad teams are going to lose. The good teams are going to win. People didn't think the Pacers were going to be good last year. That was kind of their coming out party. So I'm interested to see if somebody this year can use it as like, no, we're actually better than people thought a month ago, because this all starts 1 month into the season. I also hate that it's once a week. I get whiplash going from like, oh, that game yesterday really mattered. Now we're on a back-to-back, just playing a regular season game. Like, I don't feel like that's enough differentiation for the average fan to be like, well, is that just like a city edition court? Like, because they're always changing up the jerseys too. So I think like the most casual of fans still has no idea the difference between like, oh, that's just a cool court. Like, I do think they should be trying more shit.
Are they, do you think they should maybe like, I'm probably stretching it here, but do you think they should maybe like call off the season just for a couple days to set up these schedules for the in-season tournament? So it's like maybe a week-long thing of just straight tournament games for these teams.
I don't hate it. I when it was first pitched, I thought it was going to just be December or January leading into the All-Star break. So it was like, for me, the NBA takes off Thanksgiving. It would almost make sense if like Black Friday kicked off the in-season tournament and then you had the championship on Christmas.
That'd be dope.
You know what I mean?
That'd be
That's
dope.
where.
That'd be
But
dope.
basketball is kind of losing Christmas to the NFL after having Christmas forever. It was the only day they had during the NFL season. The NFL's now starting to play 7 days a week. And Christmas is a day they've come for in recent years. If the NBA wants to really take it back, I think making that the in-season tournament championship on Christmas Day, and then I understand they have like 6 games on, but if you have the championship and maybe like the third place game as well on that day, I think that makes it a bigger event.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
I love that they go to Vegas. Like, I think that's so cool for the Final Four. I do think if you had all, 30 NBA teams, in one location, kind of like I don't know. I miss something about like the UMass Summer
bubble.
League or the Orlando Magic Summer League, the bubble. Like that, it was just like a cool environment. The other thing, back to the court real quick. If we can make the court pink or green or lime, whatever crazy color the court's going to be, why can't we put the Larry O'Brien trophy back on the floor for the NBA Finals? It was so freaking cool when you go back and you look at like the 08 Celtics. Like the Larry OB was massive.
It's way too cool, bro. You can't bring something that cool back, bro. It's too cool, bro. They wouldn't get it right. Yeah, bro. I'd be mad if they don't get it right. It's too cool, bro. It's too cool.
I mean, even this year, and this isn't even a basketball problem. This is a graphic design problem. And I've talked about this in the past, but it has to do with whatever the popular drug in the country is. Now, if you give me a second to expound, I'll gladly. I don't know if you fellas watch Stranger Things, but that's the most popular 80s media we have over this last decade. Look at like the mall when they go to the ice cream shop. Everything's loud. Everything's neon. What was going on in the 80s? Cocaine. What is going on the last 15 years? Antidepressants. It's fucking perks. It's all these downers. It's all this shit to dull you and numb you. And that's why everything's gray. Everything's bland. Everything sucks. Look at the progression of the Super Bowl logo. When the Patriots started winning those chips, in the early 2000s, the Houston logo went crazy. Even when we lost to the Packers in the 90s, that one had that Mardi Gras flair to it. All the Super Bowl logos now they look like medicine companies. Like it's just all silver and plain. There's no city host feel to them at all. And when you look at NBA uniforms, all uniforms, when you look at like coaches, college football coaches in the 90s had that shit on. They were wearing starter jackets. They were wearing the shark tooth hats. Like they had colors going crazy because they were all still on cocaine. No one's on cocaine anymore.
I like how all spun back, bro.
I'm sorry. Hey. Listen, am I wrong?
Bro, I got a whole like an hour and a half talk about minimalism and art, bro, and why it's horrible. But we should talk Celtics, bro, because that's a whole nother thing.
Listen, I blame the drugs for minimalism in our art. 1,000%. Listen, you're on Xanax, right? Do you want to be sitting there all night patching together some crazy art? No, that's cocaine behavior. That's not Xanax behavior.
In fact,
Mom, I do not condone this conversation at all, Mom. I know you're listening.
I'm just the noticer. I'm not out here condoning anything. I'm just noticing things. You know,
Coley, what drugs do we need the Celtics to start taking for them to get a better alternate uniform? Like, I feel like every single year they come out with a uniform and it leaves something to be desired. Like, I didn't really like last year's. I know there's mixed opinions on it. We had like the gray Isaiah Thomas short sleeve jerseys. Like, I think the last good alternate was the St. Patrick's Day uniforms, which I think they should bring back. Those should be a staple that they should be wearing. But I mean, realistically, all of their alternate uniforms have left something to be desired.
They largely have, and I know Stiz has takes on this as well. But I feel, because I was watching JT did the original JT's podcast, Club 520. He was talking to Jeff Teague and the boys, and he was talking about Kyrie, and someone cut it so that it went into Celtics Kyrie highlights. And I had forgotten we had the white jerseys with like the gold numbers with the green trim during that Kyrie era. Those were crazy. I feel like they bat about 500. Like every other year, they'll drop something above average. And by above average, I mean for the NBA's average. For Celtics average, I mean, I'm old enough to remember when the black jersey, that's like kind of become their only jersey, was like a big no-no. Like you can't, we wear white, we wear green, that's it. So I do feel like they've done okay, but this year specifically stinks, as bad as it's ever been. What do you think about the jerseys, Stiz?
Man, I think it's tough, bro, just because like we're so big on tradition in our city, bro, like especially with the sports teams, bro. We don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like Bruins is about as far out as it goes as far as like letting shit just rock. But like,
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like our teams are so like you were saying, so strict with the colors that it's hard for any designer to really flip a Celtics jersey, bro, and like really try to go crazy on it. Cause at the end of the day, you're gonna have to say Celtics right here. Wow. In that font. You feel me? Like they're not gonna let you like get your Raptors off and just put a dinosaur on the front of your jersey or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like I think it's just gonna take, bro, like the front office just kind of like letting the designer really do their thing, like really do their thing, bro.
Because like,
I'm all for tradition, but like, they don't wear that white uniforms enough. They wore their black uniforms 3 times in a row on that road trip. Like, did they not bring their travel bags? Did they only have one set? I also think the other thing that was interesting is the black uniforms are their Jordan specific uniforms, and they wore them both nights in Charlotte. Like, I thought that was incredible.
I didn't even notice that.
It's crazy how underreported it is that every team in the league has Jordan on their chest now. Like that just happened one day. Like if you go to the Nike store right now, no free ads for that small business, Nike. But if you go to the Nike store, like you'll find like Knicks stuff with Jordan on it. I don't know who's buying. If you're a Knicks fan, you cannot buy stuff with Jordan on it. Like they hate, like if you meet a 40-year-old Knicks fan, they've never owned a pair of Jordans out of how much they hate that guy for what happened to them in the 90s. So to see like a fashionable Knicks shirt that has like a giant Jumpman logo on it, that's crazy. And no one even talks about it. Like Jordan, he's on soccer jerseys overseas. Anyone who's trying to argue anyone's bigger than him ever, which still happen, like is still one of the biggest talking points in sports talk. What are you talking about, dude? All 30 teams, they've had Jerry West on them. We understand. They just slid Jordan they created a whole line of alternates just to have the Jumpman on a jersey. I think they're soft launching that becoming the NBA logo.
I didn't even notice that, bro. I gotta go check that out now. I really gotta go check
Could you imagine if the Celtics had an alternate jersey that had like the LeBron crown on it? Like, that would just make me like want to vomit.
But I don't say stuff like that, bro.
Or like that Kobe triangle shit. Either of them.
I got different feelings for Kobe.
I get it. Our whole lineup, our whole team has different feelings for Kobe than I would prefer. But that was one thing I did really like hearing Tatum talk about. When I don't know if you guys watched that interview, or I've only seen clips so far. I've been busy. I haven't been able to sit and watch him talk. But one of the clips was talking about that draft and how he didn't think he was coming to Boston. He wanted to go to Phoenix, like he wrote in that letter when he was 7. He thought he was going to Phoenix. And the Lakers never even talked to him throughout the entire process. And we know how big of a Kobe guy JT is. So thank you again, LeVar Ball.
Appreciate
you so much for bullying the Lakers into drafting Lonzo, who was a fine prospect. Like Lonzo as a prospect was nice. I know he's been going through his shit. He has to prove to Stephen A. Smith that he can stand up out of a chair. It's tragic what's happened to him. At no point was he a better prospect than JT, and especially the Lakers just being like, we're all set. We're definitely taking this guy, and allowing Danny Ainge to do what he did to the whole league. It couldn't have happened without the Lakers just being absolute idiots.
Man, shout out to them, man. Shout out to that front office. Shout out to Philly's front office, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm always gonna love that year. That's my favorite draft. Best draft of all time.
I think it's so funny too because people give Danny so much credit because they're like, oh, like he got the extra draft pick too. It's like that turned out to be Romeo Langford. Like let's not
Which
make
turned
that the
out
big
to
deal.
be what?
Who did
Eric
Romeo
White.
Langford really turn out? Okay, then.
Eric White. Yeah, exactly.
Really
Regardless,
Not him
the Romeo
himself.
Langford pick was not the thing to blow Danny Ainge for. The thing to blow Danny Ainge for is that he identified the prospect that he wanted. I mean, I don't know what you guys thought, but like I was originally kind of pissed when they traded the pick because I wanted Fultz, and that's how stupid I am. I mean, I'm going to say wrong things every single episode, so people can continue to come at me with what I say is wrong.
A hooper in college.
Yeah,
It was nice.
Fultz was crazy.
It
Fultz
was
had the
nice,
most.
man. He passed the eye test in college for sure. He wasn't wrong booted for that, bro. He was nice.
So I
I was wrong,
Fultz.
Stiz, because he's coming off the bench for the Orlando Magic, and Jayson Tatum is the best player in the world.
Yeah, he's out of the league at the moment, which is crazy. It's not a reason to expand the league, but it is crazy that Fultz isn't on a roster.
Yes,
I was in on Fultz because I was done with Isaiah, and I love Isaiah. People have taken everything I've said about Isaiah as, oh, you never liked him. No, I didn't like the obvious ceiling we had with Isaiah. Isaiah was a happy accident. We traded for Isaiah when we should have been tanking for Towns, but that's a different conversation. We traded for Isaiah because Ainge wanted to get him rather than wait for the summer. He comes in, gets immediately ejected from his first game, which I still think is one of the funniest things that's happened the last decade with the Celtics. And
was that in LA
then he
or
just
Phoenix?
It was in LA. It was in LA.
It was in LA.
And he goes crazy. What Isaiah did while the Nets were tanking on our behalf made a tanking team watchable, made a bad team very watchable, gave us a 1 seed, was good for Jaylen's first year. Everything Isaiah did, I loved, but it was time to move on once that Tatum draft happened. And Ainge knew that. But I mean, he went to Qdoba with Markelle Fultz. There was that famous picture of them standing, Ainge pointing at like what he gets every day. I was very excited for Fultz. Fultz had the most advanced spin move. He had one of the better guard defense showings I had ever seen for a college prospect like that. Whatever injury may or may not happen that summer after he got to Philly made him a different shooter, made him a different player entirely. And considering Philly was on that plan with Embiid sitting out a couple years, the Zaire Smith they tried to kill with peanut allergies, Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons. Like, I don't know if Fultz went elsewhere if he doesn't have a much different career. So I'm still willing to say that wasn't a bad take by you, Buddha. It was just a better take by Ainge to be like, you know what? I'm going to get Kyrie Irving this summer as well. So I don't need a point guard, as it turns out. That was a weird summer too. Now that we're going down memory lane, because anytime a big free agent in basketball signs, it's always like 4th of July, but there's always a press conference pretty immediately. And that offseason, as Tatum talked about it when the Celtics did draft him, he was furious that they signed Gordon Hayward because he was like, where am I supposed to play? All these young guys, part of the reason they all wanted to go to Phoenix, Josh Jackson too. Part of the reason they all wanted to go to Phoenix is like, that team fucking stinks. Like, I'll be able to play there. No problem at all. We signed Gordon Hayward. There's no press conference for months. And that's because Angel's in the background working on the Kyrie trade. And then they have the joint press conference together, which now is a very cursed image. But it is very interesting that he knew all the way back at the draft, oh, I don't need as much as I think Ainge still liked Markelle Fultz. I don't think he thought he was fleecing Philly at all. I think he was trying to get another pick. It turned out to be Romeo Langford, of course, but I think he was getting that because he knew, all right, I might need one more because I have this other deal on the back burner cooking right now for Kyrie. And if Kyrie just had a little bit more patience, he could still be here having a much better time than he's had since he left.
Cole, you said it right. Like it was our ceiling with Isaiah that was like limiting. Like, I don't know if that team was ever going to get over the Eastern Conference Finals hump. I feel so bad for him. Like, he was making $6 million a year for Boston, which I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's so much money, like whatever it is. But in the NBA, it's really not. He probably walks away with 3.5. I mean, that's a guy who was on the verge of getting a $30 to $35 million contract annually. Like, is there like some sort of insurance policy that he could have put into play? I mean, his hip blows out. He literally gives his whole career for a playoff run, and he gets nothing out of it. I mean, that guy should never buy a beer in this city ever again. Shout out to UIT. I wish that we could just all give you a big hug and $90 million, but at the end of the day, you were one of the stepping stones that we needed to get over the hump. But shout out to number 4. That guy, fucking incredible what he did, especially with all like the trauma in his life and that run. It was incredible.
Big love to IT, man. He pooped.
The purest. He was just literally, he was doing what Harden was doing, but a foot shorter. Like it was one of the crazier. Jeremy Lin gets a lot of credit for a hot 10 games. Isaiah doing that for like 3 straight years is way crazier. Way crazier.
I mean, Tommy Heinsohn was having a stroke every single night. He's like the little guy. Some of the best sound clips that Tommy's ever had. I mean,
oh yeah. I mean,
I feel like Tommy. I think we were. Did he have 50 against Miami once? And he was just like going absolutely bonkers. Like
he gave us a lot of good games like that, though, man. He was just going crazy. He really was team on the back, carrying, bro, carrying.
Like some of those lineups that were out there with him too were just terrible, and he had no problem. He was like, it's nothing to me. Like, I'm gonna go jack
just hoop
his lefty shot. Yeah, we were here. He would drive in the paint. He would take a hit. He was talking shit. Like it was wild to watch. While again, like all this other stuff's going on in the back. Like if the Nets were good during that time, I would have hated it. But they were the worst team in the league, and they kept giving us top 3 picks. So I was like, this is the best. This is the best thing that's ever happened, actually. It all works out. We get to play competitive basketball so that we have all these role players that are growing. Jaylen gets to go to the Eastern Conference Finals as a rookie. Like all this stuff's happening. The Terry gets to get drafted and get some playing time. Like those were fun teams. Very fun.
That year was amazing, bro.
I don't think a lot of fans are going to have the opportunity that we had as Celtics fans. I mean, we would be like, hey, what are you doing Wednesday night? Oh, well, the Celtics are playing in the Eastern Conference Finals, and we have the draft lottery, and we have a 25% chance at the number 1 pick. It was like, oh, great. We're up 10 in the third, but we also got the number 1 overall pick. It's like, I don't know if I'm more excited for the present or the future.
Right. Literally the only other fan base who's experienced that before was when the Celtics won the championship in 86 and also had the 2nd overall draft pick. Now, we know what happened there. It wasn't all good news, but in the moment, that must have been unbelievable. That was a hot 24 hours where it was just like, we may never lose a game again. But that's neither here nor there. Isaiah was king of the 4th, famously. Tatum right now being king of the 1st. Again, go to the Underdog Fantasy app. Enter promo code Banner19. Keep playing those Tatum first quarters, especially with Jaylen out, and especially today when you're hearing this. I assume you're listening the second it drops. If you didn't, pick your shit up, dude. Get it together, because tonight we need everybody. We need everybody locked in, because that jackass Steve Kerr is coming to town, and I need him to hear it. I need him to hear about it.
The big game, man. The Warriors are playing well.
Yeah.
Celtics are playing well. This is exactly what I wanted, bro. I can't wait, man.
It's like it's early enough in the season, too, that there's still that anger from the Celtics fans. I will say, like, because it's early, I think that's great. But God damn it, don't do it on a Wednesday night. This game should have been 3:30 Sunday ABC. It should have been 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock Saturday night. But I'm calling all the Celtics fans out. That Garden has to be rocking tomorrow night. Steve Kerr has to pay for his sins from this summer, because he did JT wrong. I know that they ended up winning the gold medal, but I don't see a scenario where if they played JT more, they wouldn't have won the gold medal.
Sure. Yeah. Facts.
No, I can't wait, man. It's going to be good hoops, bro. Buddy Hield's balling. Our whole team's balling. We already know about that, bro. I'm excited, man. See some Steph Curry, bro. I just want to see if JT comes alive, bro. Like, I'm really excited to see what JT wants.
I don't think Kerr is going to let Tate, I think everyone's like, oh, Tatum's going to shoot 100 shots and he's going to score 50 points. Prove me wrong, JT. But I don't think Kerr is going to let him do that. He knows JT's on a mission tomorrow night. I'm very interested to see, again, Coley, he's going to come out in the first quarter. He's going to start jacking shots. If he starts to hit shots, Kerr is going to make sure that the ball is out of Jayson Tatum's hands. And that's where, like, he's going to take that next step and elevate. And we see it, right, when he finds the open man. And there's a lot of times where he doesn't get credit for the assist because he finds the guy who, whose man was doubling him. And then there's one more pass. If Jayson Tatum could, do they track hockey assists? Like, if they did, I strongly believe that Tatum would be high on the list of hockey assists.
I think next gen stats, and I can't remember what the NBA calls them. It's a football term, but I'm pretty sure they are because I see Derek White's dad. He was complaining that they weren't updated for the last 2 games. So I know they do have them, but it sounds like they're not that quick to update them, which again, NBA, figure your shit out, dude. Derek White's dad does the best thing where every morning he knows the exact time when all of those stats release, and 2 minutes later he tweets out everything D White did in the previous game that doesn't show up in the box score. And I am a dad myself. He's the best dad in the world by far. Like he's comfortably number 1.
Derek White just did everything right. That's all his dad should say. He did everything right. Because that's what he does when he steps on that court, man. He doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't make mistakes.
He does.
Tito Horford is fantastic. He's a nice presence for this era of Celtics.
Great.
Him doing the walk-ins with Al, like they're both over the age of 40 doing walk-ins together, wearing the jersey. Like Tito,
great, bro.
I can't say enough good things about Tito and Al, and the whole Horford family. We're blessed to have them. Remember when Philly signed Al Horford? Those fucking idiots. That was
yeah, and then we had to just grab him right back, bro. He called us back. Was like, bro, I don't like it over here at all.
Yeah, this ain't it. This is not it.
What the fuck?
How did Oklahoma City not get in trouble? Like he never played for them. They essentially were like, hey, put ice on your knees because we're trading you next off season.
Yeah, I think it was just he was old enough where they were allowed to do that. If he were like 29, they for sure would not have been able to get away with that. I think it was like he was like 36.
Is Joel Embiid old enough that he's going to start getting away with this? Or because, since we've started this podcast, Joel Embiid has played 0 minutes in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. And Paul George, too. I think he's coming back. But, last episode, we were talking about Joe Mazzula trying to put coins up, trying to fight everybody. And Joel Embiid listened. He said, you guys send me the coins when you're ready. I'm ready to fight today. Is he trying out for Joe Mazzula? Is he trying to catch his eye like, hey, get me out of this hellhole? I see you're playing more traditional centers these days. I'd love to somehow make my way up to Boston like I did with Team USA and just kind of ride the coattails to a championship I can't get myself. Because that's how I took it. How about you, Stiz? How'd you read the whole Joel Embiid shoving, quote unquote, situation in Philly?
I think, from what I heard he was talking about, I think it was, I get it.
Yeah, but, reporter was talking reckless.
Yeah, I get it 100%. But I do think if he does want to come up here, get some jitsu lessons from my boy Joe, doors open, man. We would love to have you up here, man. We would, you feel me? I will forget almost everything that you've done to my C's. You haven't done it any winning really against us, but all the trash talk I'll forget about for the most part, bro. You could come rock, bro. No joke. You too, Giannis. Giannis, I hear you trying to get up out of Milwaukee. Come on up here, man. It's cool over here, man. It's greener. The grass is greener on the other side, brother. It's cool over here.
If you could only add one of them, who you taking? Because for me, it's a very easy answer.
Giannis. I'm going Giannis. Was that the easy answer?
Yeah.
For me, it is.
Okay.
I'm taking Giannis too. Too.
Okay.
The best ability is availability, and Giannis is going to be there, and Embiid's just not. The other thing is the low post center. I don't want to build a team in 2024 on a low post center. That's just a boring brand of basketball, and you're not going to win shooting 2s versus 3s. Also, correction back to episode 2. There was no 3-point line when Bob Cousy played. So I said that it was the same math when Bob Cousy played. It wasn't.
He was thinking about it though. The Bucks are learning the hard way that Doc Rivers is an idiot and has no control over anything, and it's great. Like, I was already not worried about the Bucks. The only time they've put us out was when Kyrie was already in his mind playing with Kevin Durant. They've never been an issue. Chris Middleton has unto himself been an issue, but he also doesn't play basketball anymore either. So it's kind of solved itself.
I'm starting to feel bad for them boys. Like, no joke, no exaggeration, man. I don't know how we're in a world where Dame Lillard is scoring 30 and Giannis is scoring 30. Dame Lillard and Giannis are on the same team scoring 30 points, and they don't find a way to win, bro. That's tough, man. I'm thinking from the fan perspective, bro. You know what I'm saying? That is, bro, I would be sick, bro.
For sure. They traded away Drew Holiday thinking, like, that's fine. The Celtics aren't going to trade for Drew Holiday. Like, maybe the Heat will.
Maybe they won't see it. They won't see it.
Yeah, they're busy. They're out of town. They're out of office. Their hearts had to have sank when they saw Brad was in the kitchen and got Drew Holiday. They were like, that was not part of the deal. Portland. That was not what we agreed upon. And so, yeah, that's been a tough scene. I really, truly feel bad for them.
It's crazy when you look at the East standings. I think Milwaukee's 1-7 and Philly's 1-6. I mean, those are two teams that you looked at and you're like, all right, in the East, you know, Embiid, if he's playing in his prime, if Giannis is playing in his prime, those are the two players in the East that can challenge Tatum for that best player. And they're not even, you know, in playoff contention right now. Now, again, long way to go. Like, we'll see what happens. But it does feel like there's a changing in the guard coming in our competition in the East. When you look at Cleveland, I mean, we didn't get a healthy Cleveland last year. And when they had Donovan Mitchell, they came into the Garden and they beat you. Evan Mobley, I mean, we'll see what happens with a guy like that. He was on my list of players that I was afraid of as a Celtics fan because, you know, again, his potential is unlimited, I think. You know, and then you look at Orlando. I know they're a little bit banged up right now with Banchero, but we talked about them last episode. You know, with Wagner, Banchero, Suggs. I mean, they have, you know, Jonathan Isaac. I mean, we're talking about Jordan Walsh's wingspan. Imagine Jonathan Isaac's. Like, I think there is a changing in the guard, and we're seeing some new, like, blood in the East that I think are going to give us some talent. Stiz, notice I didn't mention the New York Knicks because I don't think they're there yet.
It's all good, brother. It's all good, bro. It's really crazy that it's like it really is a change in the guard in a new era in a way. But all these guys are like young as hell, bro. Mm. Like, somehow the Celtics are the vet team here, and their leader is 26. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy, bro. Like, what we're seeing, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even like Giannis and Joel over in Milwaukee, and like those guys they're not old. They're not really old, but it is a new era, man. That's just what's happening. And these young guys, like I said, they're scary. I said that last time, man. They're scary, and I'm always gonna circle that Orlando game. Donovan Mitchell always plays like he got a chip on his shoulder against us for some reason. So,
well, him and Jaylen are boys. Him and Jaylen have been boys forever, so they always love going against. Like, remember in the bubble, it was just like them two were hanging out the whole. Like, I thought we were going to get Donovan Mitchell forever.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, for a little bit. I do remember that.
Genuinely thought that was going to be what Marcus Smart and other players were turned into, was Donovan Mitchell. And Brad said, you have no idea how much better it's going to be. You have no you can't even wrap your mind around what I'm going to do to this roster. And he was right. Donovan Mitchell, he did come in last year and put one of the 3 wins on the board. But Darius Garland is a different player than he was last year. He's looking like the guy he was 2 years ago. Because last year, I don't know if it was JB Bickerstaff's fault. I don't know if it was just the Cavs' fault for not liking JB Bickerstaff, asking them to practice and things of that nature. But Garland was no-show in that playoff series and was largely bad last year to the point where everyone thought he was going to the Spurs in the offseason. They just assumed Cleveland was going to ship him out. And as a fan of team building as a concept, I was happy they didn't, because I always think we're too reactionary to 1 year. I understand it's a large sample, but guys have down years. And considering Garland got his face broken like 9 different times last year, it was a little understandable that he was driving into the paint so meekly, turning down threes that he normally. I mean, this guy didn't play a lot in college when he was at Vanderbilt, and he still got drafted, I think, 6th because of how deadly of a trigger he had from distance. You're seeing a lot more of that this year. I know he just put up 30 the other night. The Cavs are up. LeBron's never had a start in Cleveland as well as they've had this year, which is mind-blowing. This is the Cavs' best start since the 1970s. I didn't even know there were the Cleveland Cavaliers in the 1970s. So that's been crazy, like genuinely crazy that they've done things, this group has done things that no LeBron-led Cavs team, not even Mark Price when those teams were nice in the early 90s. Like, it is crazy what Kenny Atkinson has them doing. Obviously, Jared Allen was out in that playoff series as well. He's back, allows Mobley to play that 4, bench 5, which I think he's more better suited to. But the Cavs are a tight-knit team, and where I do like them more than the Knicks, at least right now, they have that cohesiveness. They have been together for a couple of years now. That I think is any team's biggest advantage over the field. Even the Timberwolves, teams like that. You see the Warriors are off to a better start than normal. Yeah, they lost Clay. They swapped out with Buddy Hield, who's second right now in 6th man of the year voting behind Buddha.
Peyton Pritchard, baby, best player in the world, pound for pound.
Peyton Pritchard is the odds favorite right now for 6th man of the year. And I don't see why he can't win it. Like, there's no reason he's going to come in with the green light. He's averaging 10 threes a night. I think it's like 11 per 36, and he's playing about 30. He's the guy. He's part of the reason right now why Buddha can say crazy things like, let's trade Jaylen Brown for a couple of seconds. Because Peyton Pritchard's been going
trade
crazy.
Jaylen. I never said trade Jaylen. Check the tape. I said, do we
Jake,
need
what does
him?
the tape say? Jake?
Yeah, I just checked the tape. It looked like he was pretty down on Jaylen early, so he have to fight back from that.
Jaylen, I love you. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him.
Peyton Pritchard took opening night off when we thumped the Knicks, and I don't think he hit a single shot in that game. And he hasn't missed since, which I'm fine with. I'm completely fine with that strategy. How impressive is it, Stiz, to watch a guy, Danny Ainge's last first-round pick, a combo guard, just come in, guy who demanded a trade a few years into his career, and now seems like a legitimately important piece to this team.
The growth of Peyton Pritchard needs to be studied, man. It's been amazing to watch, bro. I said this last episode, but I'll just keep reiterating, bro. Like, his grittiness, his toughness, bro. The way he's fearless. He's just fearless, man. And he's a little guy, and I love that, bro. I love when the little guy's out there fearless, bro. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what giant's out there. You feel me? As another little guy, bro, I love it.
I was gonna say, you calling someone like much taller than you, the little guy's very
He's
funny.
a little guy out there, bro. You know what I'm saying? And guess those guys, bro. Everybody out there 6'10" now.
No, he is. In the NBA, he is. It's just very funny. He's watching this right now. Like, I've met that guy. I know I'm taller than him.
Like 7 inches taller than him.
He was in the locker room the other day. I think he was talking to Jay King from the Athletic. Shout out Jay King. And he said, I've leveled up, which Peyton Pritchard's a lot of things. Humble's not one of them. He will tell you, like, no, I'm nice. Let me promise you. And I respect.
I don't think he's leveled up. He's like evolved into a new player, Coley. I mean,
right.
His confidence. I mean, the shots he's taking are like BYU Jimmer Fredette threes, like, and they don't touch the rim.
No.
It happened with him. It happened with Derek White. I don't know what it is about the Celtics, bro, but you just transform into a better player once you buy into the system over here.
It's Mazzula. It has to be.
He's baby.
It's Mazzula, but don't you think like being in the Auerbach facility every single day, seeing the greatness that's around you? Yeah, and you know, I know those guys only have one title, but like the standard that Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown have put together in this organization over the past 6, 7, 8 years, like every single, like, you know, we talk about Derek White, talk about Peyton Pritchard, but look at the development of a Neemias Queta. I mean, like we talked about him earlier, like everyone is getting better within that organization, whether they're getting playing time or not.
That's where I think it does all fall back to Mazzula, because I agree the players at the very top have set the standard to be unselfish, to work hard, to play defense. It does start with them. We were just talking about JB Bickerstaff and the Cavs and how that fell apart last year, and how Mitchell was saying it's him or me, stuff like that. Like, they didn't have that buy-in from their star with their coach. It didn't align. And that is something that Tatum and Jaylen have been like, we ride with this guy. They didn't have to. They could have easily said, hey, it's Ime or we're not here anymore. Like, if you fire Ime, you might as well trade us. They could have easily done that. They have that power. Every star player today has that kind of power. They said, listen, man, we rocked with Mazzula when he was at the end of the bench. We'll give it a go here. And that buy-in has had a complete trickle-down effect, because you saw Derek White when he got traded here in the middle of the season, and he had open threes and he was turning them down against the Warriors. Then we end up losing that. I don't blame Ime.
Almost looked like Walsh a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Huh?
Almost looked like Walsh just a little bit. Just
Sure.
a little bit. Remnants of it.
Sure. And so he gets Joe Mazzula. Joe Mazzula says, if you get the ball, shoot it. And that's been the biggest thing for Pritchard too. Obviously, it's the hours, him paying overseas players to guard him while he walks the fridge in the middle of the night last year, like stuff like that. But I think that's where Mazzula is showing them like the hunting patterns of orcas is really like, everyone buys into that, to the point where it's just like, yeah, I like Jordan Walsh, you would think, because of him being a wing and being long and all this AO, he should be following Jaylen and Tatum to be like, yeah, that's what I should model my game after. I honestly think it should be Pritchard. Like, how did you insert yourself into games coming off the bench and how do you get hot like that? How do you get open? How do you keep your shot ready? He already knows the defensive side. He's already,
his size will be crazy. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like crazy.
He's going to be able to get his shot up over everyone. If Pritchard can get his shot up over anyone, I'm positive Jordan Walsh can do it. So that's where it's like, you watch him, you watch D White, you already understand the defense part. You watch how these guys have acclimated to this offense. You're going to carve yourself out a nice, like 15-year career in this league. I promise you.
I do wonder like what Pritchard's like open market value would be. Like, if there was no restrictions on like what you're able to pay somebody, like if he was a free agent tomorrow and every team in the league had cap space, like how much money would Peyton Pritchard be getting? And again, is he a bona fide NBA starter? No, I'm not trying to make him out to be something that he's not. But I mean, the spark that he's providing is for the best team in basketball, shooting the third most on the team. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's in third right now, or is it Derek White?
Probably, especially with Jaylen's missed so many games at this point. I think he's missed 3 and he's going to miss the next one. So Pritchard's been getting them. And even the game 1, Pritchard played like that whole second half trying to break the 3-point record and just kept missing. So he's definitely gotten them up.
Hey, I would like to use a coin for the year, because we've been on this podcast for an hour, and I would like to use a coin on Grant Williams, old friend. Because I don't know if you guys saw, but him running into Jayson Tatum was absolutely bullshit. Now, here's what I'll say. Okay,
what happened?
I have always been a Grant Williams supporter. Okay, I think that Grant Williams can play a role on a championship team. Okay, was he the right fit for the Celtics? No, probably not. Like, I don't think they needed another leader or voice in the locker room. And him leaving, just like Smart leaving, kind of opened up the leadership, role for a JT and a JB, and Al and Drew, which is what we needed. I think Grant Williams can be a solid NBA player. He shoots it. He can switch 1 through 4. But with all that being said, fuck you. There was nothing about that was actually a basketball play. He ran straight into Jayson Tatum because Tatum essentially said, yeah, we don't need this guy to win a championship. And guess what? We didn't. Fuck Grant Williams.
What was that about? What happened? Why? Was it just? I didn't even see the play before it. Like, I low-key clocked out on that game. I had some like, you know what I'm saying? I thought we were gonna win it. I low-key was just like, we got. I mean, I didn't think we were gonna win. I thought we was gonna be a bigger blowout. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, bro,
sure.
I kind of tuned out on that one, and my mom sent me all the texts like, yo, what is Grant Williams doing? And I had to go see it. I'm like, bro, what was that even about? It just looked like what was it for?
I mean, with like JT and Grant, I believe are friends. I obviously don't know these people, but the way they always framed it, it very much seemed like they were friends even throughout all of Tatum's incessant bullying of Grant Williams, because that was the whole time they were here. It was Deuce was bullying Grant. So I think he was just like, you know what? Fuck this guy. I'm because even Grant after was like, you could see I was trying to you weren't making a play on the ball. You wanted to tackle the guy. It happens. Like, you weren't making a play on the ball when you did that weird ass flop when Derek White was trying to just inbound the ball 5 seconds later. Like, that had nothing to do with anything. Like, you were trying to be an instigator. Like, I get it. That's been your thing. Outside of the Milwaukee game where you hit all those threes, you've been an instigator. He's literally the strongest person to ever come into the NBA out of college. Like, that is why you're here. As well as you can shoot all this, that, and the third. That's what you're here. You're here to be an instigator. You're here to muck shit up. And Jaylen was not going for it. Jaylen said, we are not going to knock down JT. Like, we are not. I'm thrilled you're not here anymore. So he went and cleaned that shit up real quick, which I love. Again, can't be trading him for a top 59 protected pick. That is the leader of this team, no matter how good JT is. Yeah, it was very strange. And then the next night, Queta dunking on him, staring him down, all that. Loved it. I love how personal they took it.
Beautiful, bro. Yeah, bro. It was beautiful to see the team right behind JT, bro. Because I told you we're not rocking with that whole soft narrative, bro. It's not going down. I know JB's definitely not accepting it. JT's quiet, bro, but you see how he just popped right back up and like, yo, let's just get right back to work. And I love that, man. Like, yo, let's just get right back to killing these guys. Like, it is what it is.
Simple.
Let's get right back to killing
these guys. They used to talk all the time about, like, you know, I'm stronger than you or you're stronger than me. And Grant Williams in the weight room did push Tatum to, like, his shoulders are probably 2 extra inches out now because I think he was just like, Grant can't lift more than me. I will give Grant a little bit of credit, though. I will say, you know, for a 6'6" guy,
you just
undersized, really doesn't have a place.
3 seconds ago.
I'm giving him credit for this.
I'll give him credit. He was the SEC Player of the Year, and he's completely changed his game to be like a moldable NBA player. He still has no business. Like, I know that you used to be teammates with Jayson Tatum, but like, you're not on that level. Like, don't ever consider yourself on the same platform. I mean, I'm still wondering how he gets an invitation to the July 4th white party. How is he one of the 300 people that gets an invitation? Like, that makes absolutely no sense to me.
No.
Is it JT?
Probably. Yeah. Probably. It was just strange. Grant's better than that. That's how I felt disappointed in Grant.
Me too, bro. I was like, bro, what was it for, bro? Come on, bro.
Yeah. You're teammates with Miles Bridges. Like, hit him. How does that sound? Like, how about you hit him instead? Teach LaMelo how to drive, how to stop at stop signs. Do some public service. Don't take out a father of 2, a good man, Jayson Tatum. I can't be having that. Not for a second. Speaking of instigators, we do have Draymond, who will be riding for his guy Steve Kerr, and he definitely still thinks the Celtics are soft. In his mind, the Celtics won the title last year. They didn't go through Golden State. Last time we saw Golden State on that stage, they put us out, and it was a lot of Draymond in that. So I think he's going to be playing just as hard for Kerr, and I think he's going to be taking it. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a cheap shot on Tatum from Draymond.
You know, it's crazy. I would for some reason, like the way that him and JB get into it, I would see it more if JB was in the game.
Right. But I think JB's already out. That's why I think he's going to direct it at Tatum.
You think so?
I think he's going to from tip off, because Draymond hasn't exactly been starting all these games either. He's been coming off the bench. I think he will start.
I might call it with Queta. I might call it with Queta. Like, definitely.
Well, Queta will start. That's why.
Yeah, I think it might happen with Queta. Like, definitely. Like, definitely.
I do feel better about our roster to be able to, like, if they do bring back fighting back to episode 2, like, I do feel better about our roster now than I did a week ago, just seeing the response from the Grant Williams fallout.
Oh, yeah.
That was beautiful.
Very okay. Yeah,
they've been watching UFC, bro. They've been pulling up. Look, Zoo is not lying. Coach Zoo is not lying, man. They've been out here doing their thing, man.
We've got Golden State. Then we've got Brooklyn 2 days later. The Cam Thomas show. Brooklyn's supposed to be tanking. No one's told the
Flamethrower.
players yet. No one.
Explosive
Dennis
basketball, bro. That boy's good, man. Cam Thomas is a hooper.
Schroeder's been going crazy. Ben Simmons has not been going crazy. No real surprise there. So that won't be as much of a gimme as it should be. And then we've got the Bucks. That's in that 330 spot you were looking for, Buddha. That should be a gimme. Now, last year, the Bucks, was that March? They beat us pretty handedly when we had those 4 games in 5 nights, and they were the last of that trip. Don't let that be their turnaround game.
Don't let that be being a good game, bro. I'm scared, man. I got it circled, man. Just like I look at that Pacers game, bro. I look at that one the same way, bro. They dead ass need to beat us to feel okay about the rest of their season.
Correct.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they need to beat us to feel okay about the rest of their season.
Who took JJ Redick's spot on the ABC crew?
It's a great question. I haven't watched. I haven't watched the national. I don't even know if they've had it yet. They must.
We haven't had one, right?
Yeah, we've only had night.
Because like that one interests me. And I'm sorry, but them going away from Mark Jackson and Van Gundy, I mean, those two with Mike Breen, and I know Mike Breen is a Brooklyn Nets fan, at least from the Brooklyn Nets Celtics games I've watched when Breen's calling it. He's like all over the Nets. But those 3 together was absolutely incredible. Okay. And I can't believe they broke it up. JJ was okay. Doris Burke, she's got good insight, but like
she hates the Celtics for some reason, bro.
Hates them. Loves Embiid. Loves Embiid. Hates Boston.
Bro. It's so crazy. I was a big fan.
Stan Van Gundy hates us too. I've never been able to figure that one out. Jeff Van Gundy won a ring with us last year. I don't understand why they were going so hard at us all year.
That's one of the best videos on the internet is Stan Van Gundy being like, behind the back, through the legs, spin move. He's like showing off dribble moves. And it's like, dude, you're telling NBA players right now, like, speaking of short, he's probably 5'7".
I mean, Stan and Jeff, real hoopers for sure. And then we get our first in-season tournament game versus Atlanta, so that won't be at home. That's all the games that'll happen between now and next episode. I got it at 4-0. How about you, fellas?
I got it at 4-0 too. Scared about, but nervous about Milwaukee. Nervous about Milwaukee, man. Cam Thomas show's 4-0. The Cam Thomas show is going to be fun.
I'm at 4-0. We nailed the 3-1 last week, but I think we all had us beating Indiana. Again, is it that, 3 guys all saying 4-0? We should kick it over to Jake and maybe he's like, 2-2 this week.
Yeah, Jake loves to pick a split. That's what I know about Jake.
No, yeah, I got 81-1 on the year, so that would track for 4-0 this week for sure.
So what's wild, we will record between now and then, but we have the Nets on the second night of a back-to-back the day after we record. I think that's when Cam Thomas goes unbelievably crazy. Next Wednesday is when Cam Thomas puts up a 60 ball on us.
Cam Thomas shows happen, bro. I believe in it, bro.
1,000%. Does anyone have any final thoughts before we head on out of here?
JB and Zingis. Y'all boys know what it is. Y'all rest up, man. Y'all get ready. Where's Sam at? Sam's good, right?
He's been playing.
All right,
Sam's
cool.
good.
Sam's good. You've been a little quiet for me though, dog. I need more Sam Hauser. I'll be looking out for you this week. I know he's gonna have a big week. Now that I'm saying that, I'm just drinking it. I already know it. Yeah, man. More hoops, bro. More Celtics basketball, bro. Coach Zoo, you already know what it is, man. Great week, boys. Great week.
Yeah, I got a couple thoughts. First off, big shout out to Greg Popovich. I know there's some medical concerns with him. He has been a staple in the NBA, a model of consistency. So thoughts and prayers going out to Greg Popovich. I thought it was kind of funny the other night. I didn't know Taj Gibson was still in the league. So that I just had written down on our episode breakdown, Taj Gibson still in the league. I did want to follow up on my jersey numbers. Okay. Number 51. I don't know if you guys remember Keon Dooling. but I loved Keon Doolin. 52. I was an Iowa State guy. Chris Babb used to wear 52. And then 54, Greg Steemsma. He was fantastic for us. I loved Steemsma. I still ride or die with those jersey numbers. And then, this has been sticking to my craw. I texted it to our group message. I said last week Miles McBride's not a good defender. I don't know if that's exactly what I said, but somebody tweeted at me being like, Miles McBride is a good defender. Okay. He's ranked 243rd out of 437 defensive players. All right. He's 6'1". I don't care how good you are at defense if you're 6'1". This is the NBA. We're not playing in the Big 12. Okay. I understand he's a good on-ball defender, but guess what? When he plays against the Boston Celtics, they're going to say, he's 6'1". We're getting him in a pick and roll. We're going to switch, and we're going to attack him all night. So whether or not he can stay in front of Peyton Pritchard or not, that's one thing. It's another thing to be able to defend all 5 positions in the NBA. He can't do it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, McBride's a good player. I like Miles McBride, but when you said that, it didn't exactly stick out in my mind. Like, he's a high-energy player, and he will do the thing where I'm not going to let you inbound the ball and walk it up 94 feet. So that will make people go, oh, he's a good defender. He's picking him up 94 feet. Not really. He's just running next to the guy. And he went to West Virginia, which has this defensive, because what was buddy Ryan Dunn that got drafted out of there this year for Phoenix, and is all defense like that. West Virginia will have that just attached to a player when they come out of there. Love Deuce.
Did Huggins even coach him though?
No, but it's still that school. Like, that school just is a defensive school. That's just how they are. Who's the guard? I think he's on the Bulls now. Was with the Bucks. Their backup.
Javon Carter.
Javon Carter. Same guy. All those guys. Like, they just no defense. And Miles has been really good. Knicks fans are going to be defensive. This is the first team they've had that they care about and think can do some things. But so the other half of that was saying like, Miles Bridges is actually not going to shoot 0% the rest of the season. Thanks for clearing that up. That's no doubt. I'm glad. We're here for the fact checkers. I'm glad they're out there keeping us honest. Miles has hit some shots, and last I checked, they lost to the Hornets last night. So good job to do some Miles. Mikal, excuse me, not Miles. Mikal Bridges lost to Miles Bridges. That's even worse. So good job, fellas, doing all that. Shout out the Knicks. I don't know what I'm supposed to say about the Knicks. Their fans are excited. They play in the Junior Garden. They do all that. I'm worried about Jalen's hip. That's all. That's what I concern myself about.
Bro, Tibbs got to sit my boy. They got to get some players, man. They got to get some depth over there, bro.
They traded it all.
I know. I got some depth over there, man. For real. I'm worried about my boy's legs, man.
Hey, Tim, happy birthday.
Oh, yeah, Tim, happy birthday, man. Big time, bro. Big time, bro. Shout out my boy.
Shout out.
Now
Tim
we get to know if he
LaRue.
actually listens to the whole podcast, because we didn't say it until all the way at the end.
Yeah, all the way in the end. So we'll really know. We really know, bro.
The number one mover and shaker in this and any industry he enters. So shout out him. I know it's been a tough week for him watching his Yankees just get absolutely mopped by the Dodgers in the World Series. I know that had to hurt. But he's got the Celtics, so that's really all that he should care about. That probably eased the pain a little bit. Who even cares about baseball, right?
Right.
But happy birthday, Tim. I mean, this wouldn't be here without Tim. Jake wouldn't be with Section 10 and with Rollin Jays without Tim. He is the connector. He is the tide that binds.
Real legend, man. Real legend. Shout out my boy, man. Happy birthday, brother.
Happy birthday. Shout out Tim. Shout out the Dodgers. Shout out the Celtics. We will see you guys next week off of another 4-0 run for your Boston Celtics, the number one team in the NBA. See you then.
They say ignorance is bliss, and where I'm from, a nigga being innocent's a myth. And I be pissed as shit, cause I started rapping, still scrapping, and people all up on my dick. What happened? And I ain't asked for this, my niggas bumming cancer sticks, I'm smoking on a spliff. Drinking on my fifth, the time is now. I check my wrist. Hey yo, my nigga Jeezy told me the hood gon' hold me. Fuck the phonies. Remain nigga rich, get nigga rich. We taking trips, she lick her lips. Better watch your bitch. Broke as shit, but I'm cute though. Plus I got the Hugo, you know. I start my slick talking, make a hoe wanna kick it like judo. Sumo flow, we pit. The most y'all is Pudo. Never miss a beat. There's rhythm in my feet. Catch 'em on the creek. Nigga, please, ain't nothing sweet on this block like Embiid. So unique, how I'm speaking to God with gold teeth. Yo, I know my niggas gon' feel this nigga. My story is the realest. I'm the fireman. Fire for fireman. Can't get no higher, man. Higher, man. Fireman. I know you niggas gon' feel this nigga. My story is the realest. I'm the fireman. Fire for fireman. Can't get no higher, man. Higher, man. Fireman. 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 Niggas been out of pocket, spitting nonsense, Twitter gossip. Niggas stop it. We know you ain't about it and your content got no concept. You make me nauseous. You ain't a prophet or a topic about some boss shit. Foreplay, okay, that's what the horse say. Cause my jeans say Dolce and the weed I'm smoking propane. No games, I cream her face like Olay. Rogaine, kick her out the dough, then get back to the domain. Cocaine, where I'm from, shots fired like Cobain. I swear to God, nobody's scared to break the law. And the odds of making it out this hell as far as stars. Gosh, I guess that's why these niggas in these lodge jacking cars. I know my niggas gon' feel this nigga. Our story is the realest. I'm the fireman. Fire for fireman. Can't get no higher, man. Higher, man. Fireman. I know you niggas gon' feel this nigga. Our story is the realest. I'm the fireman. Fire for fireman. Can't get no higher, man. Higher, man. Fireman. 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 Fireman.